how woke culture has destroyed the West and what woke culture is like in Paraguay. I'm Gerald Summer. I'm here with Enzo Melgarejo, and we are speaking to you from Asunción, Paraguay. And Enzo is going to explain his perspective on living in Paraguay and whether Paraguay is a woke country or a woke-free country. I wanted to start this video out talking about what I experienced living in the West, specifically in Europe. I believe that Spain is the heart of wokeness in Europe. I know that you've also lived in Malaga, but it was already a long time ago.
Yes.
When you were a teenager pretty much. So I don't know how much attention you paid to things back then, but I noticed a lot of things in Spain. Like Spain has one of the highest concentrations of woke people in whole Europe. It's true. Like a lot of the people that are fleeing Eastern countries because wokeness is not accepted, they actually settle down in Spain where wokeness is very accepted. Like in Spain, they have even certain neighborhoods where they're mostly or only woke people. Yeah. And they exist in like Palma de Mallorca, they exist in Malaga, they exist in a lot of places. There are really strong concentrations of woke people in Spain, specifically in Spain. And like I said, I would consider Spain as one of the wokest countries in the entire world. And it has to do with the culture, I think, too. It's just a more accepting culture where you can be anyone you want, even if it's not who you are.
Yeah.
So that's what I have spotted, and I have also lived in Spain like you have lived in Spain in the past, and I have also but I have an apartment on the island of Tenerife, which is part of the Canary Islands, and there are certain cities there where wokeness is very much embedded in the culture. It's very much accepted. Now, you've studied in Italy, right? You graduated from the University of Bologna in Italy. Talk to us about some of the experience you accumulated during your time going to university in Bologna. When we talked about this privately just now, you informed me about certain indoctrinations that you experienced.
Yes.
Can you elaborate what you mean by that?
Well, when I mean indoctrination, and I studied economics, so imagine if social politics has anything to do with numbers, right? So yeah, it was just a constant bombardment of unnecessary opinion, and they would say information, but I would just say opinion. And if you complain in any way, shape or form, you'll be labeled as a bigot, as a racist, or even as just a South American kid who doesn't know any better. But no, during university I was arguing a lot with teachers, especially on woke culture and their intent on subverting, let's say, traditional values that I particularly have and particularly defended while I was there. Well, things such as abortion, for example, I was like, okay, maybe I can see the point, maybe it's a woman's right, whatever, but until some point, right? Like not too far. But yeah, like people there weren't willing to even discuss with another person that had a different point of view. And it's they call it woke, but I prefer to say it the way it is, which is just censorship. It's just straight up authoritarianism. It's just they call others fascists, but they are the fascists themselves, and it's weird. It was a really weird experience in Italy and also in Spain. Remember in school, I had classmates that were straight up spouting propaganda, and it was just so crazy to me, like how a Spanish-speaking country, like they can watch the Venezuela news and see what the socialist or the woke path has led to, and they have the experience to not repeat the same mistakes, and out of pure ignorance or pride, they just completely ignore it. Yeah, that's when I started realizing those facts. That's when I decided, yes, I'm definitely coming back to Paraguay in any way, shape, or form I can. Like it doesn't matter how much it takes me. I wanted to come back to my country, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's true that society forces beliefs onto you that go against ancient methodologies completely. For instance, in my humble opinion, marriage is supposed to be between a man and a woman. And the only reason why you get married is to start a family. That's the biblical meaning of marriage. If you get married and you don't have kids, you made a massive mistake. There's no need to get married. There's no point in getting married. You get married to have kids. That's the whole point, to create a unity for them, right? But now in Western Europe, you can marry someone of the same gender, right? For instance, or people get married and don't have kids. you know? What for? What's the point? You change the meaning of marriage, but it doesn't mean that you are in a marriage. It is not a marriage. It will never be one. It doesn't have the foundation of a marriage. It is confusion. That's what it is. And people are very confused these days. We talked about 21st century confusion and the establishment endorsing it for good reasons. If I were ever elected as some kind of meaningful authority in a country, I would ban birth control. I'd ban it. Because it's not supposed to exist. It's not supposed to exist. You know what I mean? And plus, and we talked about this too before when we were sitting here with Rebecca, we talked about how, in my opinion, a woman shouldn't move in with a guy unless she's married to him, right? You don't want to do that because there are not so many people that live together before marriage and it didn't work out. That's actually most people, most instances. Why is that? Well, it's not the kind of commitment it's supposed to be. It makes no sense. Honestly, I did it too. I regret it. It was a mistake. And I only did it because society allows it. But it's not the way it should be. It's not. And this time around, and we talked about this too, if I get married to this girl now, I'm only going to move in with her. I'm not going to move in with her if we don't get married because there's no point. I have already repeated this mistake one time. So I did it twice. I am not going to do that again. You know, and talk to us about Paraguayan culture. How embedded is wokeness in this culture? And like I've also talked with you about before, I don't see a lot of wokeness around here. There are not a lot of woke people in the city now. What's the current status, if you can please tell us?
Well, I don't want to be too extremist and say you are not going to find a single woke person. There is a little bit, but it's insignificant. Most people don't agree with it. Most people want nothing to do with it. Countless families have been ruined here because of woke culture. Parents that don't speak to their children, children that don't speak to their siblings. This is just a little bit of the damage that woke culture has done, and it's worldwide. But here in Paraguay, I would say, compared to Western Europe and even the United States, the effect it has been minimal. There is no sign of woke teachings in school. In fact, the government is campaigned on this. The elected government of Paraguay campaigned strongly against woke culture in schools. Things are happening in the United States, for example, right now. We already had that battle 3 years ago, and the anti-woke movement won. The traditional pro-life, conservative family values movement won. I think there's no danger of woke culture ever making a dent here in Paraguayan society. I know for a fact that in Asunción there are many traditional schools, many Christian Catholic schools, and they teach a very traditional belief system with many Christian values, and that's why I don't think there's going to be any wokeness anytime soon in Asunción. Not even from an extreme political party. They are not even getting voted.
I'm delighted to hear that. Yeah. Where I'm from, it's already too late. Even though my native country is not super woke, it's not like Spain, but it is too much already. You know that you have reached the point of no return when you are living in a society where you can't even openly talk about things you don't agree with. And that's the problem in Western society. If you say something against the mainstream narrative that's out there, you're automatically labeled as a hater, as, you know, I don't even want to articulate these words on YouTube because it's not good. It's not good for us, but you get the point. It's like as soon as you just go a little bit against the major alliance, it's like you are excluded from society.
Yes.
Well, we're not sick people, I can tell you that. We are people that just believe in God, right? And a godless society is scary. And Europe is a godless society. And to be fair, America is too. And we don't want wokeness here. We don't want it. And the people who come here, who hire us, they don't want it, right? So it is what it is, but I appreciate your input on it. And if you guys have any thoughts to share, please do. If you're interested in relocating to a conservative, pro-Christian country, come to Paraguay. You're more than welcome here. And you're welcome to join us here in Paraguay to start the life that you deserve for yourself. If you're interested in relocating to Paraguay, please book a consultation with us. You should see our website displayed on the screen. There's also a link in the description of the video. Thank you so much, and we see you on the next video.